So a couple of days ago, American actress Gabrielle Union set social media on fire when she appeared on a podcast called Idea Generation, the podcast. Now, during an interview with the host, she confessed that she shares the bills 50-50 with her basketball husband, Dwayne Wade. A lot of women were mad. And the question I ask myself is, what really is the issue at hand? Is it the fact that Gabrielle Union is self-reliant, or is it the fact that she's married to a billionaire husband? I don't believe it's a matter of living beyond her means, as some people on social media insinuated, because she did say she's lived her entire life off having a scarcity mindset and has been dealing with anxiety, as well as has had to take care of other households besides her own, right? Now, without knowing the real financial status of this power couple, I'll try to answer a couple of questions that I feel need to get answered. Is it the case of entitlement from women who are complaining on social media about the 50-50 split, or women doing so much more than men in relationships, especially when it comes to keeping the home, such that any working woman should not contribute 50-50? By the end of this video, I'll answer these and a question on whether going 50-50 in relationships is actually a smart strategy for modern couples or not. So first, let's address this, why a majority of women are so mad. So general sentiments from social media highlight the fact that her husband supposedly makes 5 times more than she would. So a 50-50 split is unfair. Then there are commenters who simply feel like she was being too masculine in her role as a wife. Yet again, others stated that he has more mouths to feed, i.e. more kids in the marriage, so there's no way they should be splitting 50-50. I'll share my general thoughts on each of these. So number one, let's address the issue of the fact that her husband makes significantly more money than she does, okay? For the life of me, I cannot understand how a lot of people on social media today take things only on face value, and I'll explain. We're not living in their house. We don't know what kind of financial arrangements they have going with regards to their home and how they want to manage it, their financial commitments, etc. I'm not saying I know better than anyone else, okay? But it simply could be either of these scenarios, right? A, she's taking care of one aspect of keeping the family going, and her husband is taking care of the other. Now, without delving into the intricacies of whether it was a perfect split of roles, she put the word 50-50 out during the interview. I refuse to believe that someone is literally counting coins to ensure that the financial commitments of both couples, has to be evenly split. To put this in context, this is a woman who asked her soon-to-be husband at the time, Dwayne, for a prenup, even jokingly admitting on television that she had never seen Dwayne Wade balance a checkbook, so she had to protect her stuff. She also said she wanted to make it clear that she was her own star and not hitching her wagon, as she put it, to his star. Off the jump, it's worthy to note that Gabrielle Union has been making her own reign from day one. Scenario B, for the benefit of this argument, let's just say that they were indeed counting coins and they're splitting the bills 50-50. There's a toxic sense of entitlement that a lot of women who are mad at her for doing this tend to have. And I wouldn't outrightly put the blame at their doorsteps, but I'll also say that a lot of men play a role in how this has turned out because they've played passive roles in ensuring that the family is well kept. And no, gentlemen, I'm not always talking about providing money. A lot of women resort to staying home and taking care of the family, or indeed are asked by their parents, by their husbands to do so. And as much as some women enjoy being the gatekeeper for the home, not every woman is wired like this. There's a good majority of women who also would like to pursue their own dreams, but I digress. The toxic sense of entitlement I mentioned earlier is simply from my thought process of why modern women who are also working 9-to-5 jobs feel as though that they are entitled to an uneven split. Yes, I mean, we can get into the argument of the gender pay gap, whether women are being paid as much as men for the same roles in the workplace, or the argument of patriarchy, or the argument of modern women going out to their 9-to-5 jobs and yet having to be the ones to still come home and manage the day-to-day activities of their families with little or no help from men. All legitimate arguments I must put out there. Indeed, we could even raise the argument of culture, geographical location, and that would require like a whole separate video. Admittedly, There's a lot of nuance here that my video cannot possibly address entirely. I don't intend to make this a very long video. All I'm saying is I truly do not believe that any human being was brought onto this earth to necessarily be solely responsible for another human being's upkeep. And as a parent, even as a parent, you're bound by law, at least in some countries, to ensure that your children are well taken care of and given proper upbringing. And guess what? After the age of 18, you have law cannot hold you to such obligations. You know, there's a reason why, except in special circumstances, the law ceases to protect children after a certain age. So why grown women think that some man needs to take care of them because they're married to them or dating them, and especially when they have their own means of making money, to be honest, is lost on me. I mean, if a woman meets a man who wants to take care of her, you know, that's fantastic. That's great, right? But it's the entitlement that I truly don't understand. Let's put religion aside. Let's also shelve societal norms for a minute. Go ahead and raise the argument of even financial abuse. I mean, I know it exists. I know women are living through it daily. But honestly, why are some women so entitled? In a union or relationship, it has to be we taking care of ourselves and each other. Each couple must be allowed to define what that means to them, okay? And I'd like to hear your comments, you know, on this particular issue in the comment section below. Now, number two, another social media, comment was about how Gabrielle Union was being too masculine in her role as a wife. Masculine energy is strong, it's stable, it's self-confident. These are actually very, very positive things to have. So why that should be used against her, for me and where I sit, makes no sense. Now, don't get me wrong. I completely understand that a great majority of men are drawn to feminine energy, feminine women. I also understand that a lot of men are put off by women who exude too much masculine energy. And that is okay. I mean, one man's meat is another man's poison, right? If it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. But to juxtapose a woman like Gabrielle Union's hustle and struggle for self-actualization with supposedly wanting to take over masculine roles is moot and, from where I sit, immature. Gabrielle Union has honed her craft, learned over the years that the only person she can rely on is herself. And why is she being punished for that? So even if she's married to a millionaire husband, she's not going to be the one to rely on him for everything. If you ask me, that's a smart move. Why? Because human beings are here today, gone tomorrow. Tomorrow is never guaranteed. Any smart human being will ensure that they are self-reliant and self-sufficient, at least to some extent, right? If being self-sufficient wasn't important, good parents wouldn't raise their kids to be these things regardless of gender. Now, I don't want this to turn into a Gabrielle Union defense video because it really isn't. However, I do really need to put my thoughts across because the vitriol on social media is simply detestable. Number three, let me just finally address this very last comment that I picked up on social media about the fact that Dwayne Wade brought more children and hence more mouths to feed to the marriage than Gabrielle Union did. And so basically, the bills should not be evenly split. Now, my question to people who raise this argument is, did she not know about the mouths they had to feed before getting married? I mean, according to reports, she even knew about the fact that Dwayne Wade had a baby with someone else a couple of months to tying their knot. And she willingly went ahead to tie the knot with him. Listen, I'm a true believer of drink deep or not at all. I believe that there are too many people going into relationships today who go in half-hearted. You're simply shortchanging yourself. Listen, if you're not ready for a commitment or the commitments that relationship requires, stay single. Gabrielle Union cannot, for instance, feed her own daughter while Dwayne's kids go hungry, right? You guys would have been the same people who would come out on social media and begin vilifying her for doing that. I don't want to drag this. Let me end this video by sharing my thoughts on why I believe going 50-50 or 100-100, as I like to put it, when it comes to relationships is a smart strategy for modern day couples, right? For starters, it creates an equitable partnership. You see, when both partners contribute equally to household chores, to finances, to decision-making, it establishes a sense of fairness and mutual respect. Both individuals will feel valued. They will feel heard, right? They have an equal say in important matters and can actively participate in shaping a shared life. Going 50-50 also leads to enhanced communication. When couples work together to divide tasks and make joint decisions, it encourages open and honest dialogue, which is important, an important recipe for a successful relationship. Going 50-50 reduces stress and feeling overwhelmed. When both partners contribute equally, the workload is shared, alleviating the burden of one individual, completely eliminating resentment and preventing burnout. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that going 50-50 will contribute to a happier, more harmonious relationship. It will pave the way for individual growth, fulfillment. Each party will have a chance to pursue interests, pursue hobbies, career goals. It will create a sense of independence within the relationship, which in turn enriches the partnership as both individuals can bring their fulfilled selves to the table and not just random stuff. If you're expecting someone else to complete you, you will always have problems. You have to bring yourself whole to the table as much as your partner has to do as well. My name is Jessica. Thanks for watching this video. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me hear what you have to say, because, man, I'm out. See you in the next video.